Hello everyone and welcome to Tuesday, and Tuesday is our Fitness Tuesday, so we are going to talk about elements of fitness today. Now I think last week we talked about the duration of exercise, and today, rather than going with intensity, we are going to, or frequency, we are going to talk about the type of exercise that we do. And a lot of the moves that you do within your workouts that I put on the videos for you are based around what we call functional training. Now, you may have heard of that in the past, and functional training is something that I wanted to explain to you today, what it means and why we do it. And functional training is basically trying to work the way the body works in daily life, because if we can load our bodies through movement patterns that mimic what we do in our daily life, then stuff in daily life will be easier. One of the main reasons we are working out the way we do, and we do a little bit every day, and we keep our bodies mobile, flexible, strong, cardiovascularly being able to endure things for a little bit longer. The reason we do all of that is because we want to live happy, healthy lives. We want to live for longer, and we want to be pain-free. Now, I know a few of you have had injuries lately. We've got a few bad backs at the moment, which if you need any help with, please do get in touch with me and I can help you with that. But a lot of what I've done over the years that I've been doing this is you learn about anatomy and physiology and how the body is put together. And so I try to make training programs for you so that your body flows and you can get through movements in daily life without pain and restriction. So that's why it's important that you warm up, that's why it's important that you stretch, and that's why we have elements of strength, we have elements of stretchy strength kind of exercises, and we also have those body weight exercises. Now, the body moves in certain patterns, so we have pushing and pulling motions because the body works in a front and back kind of motion. And we have sideways movements, lateral movements, because the body works in a sideways pattern as well when we're doing stuff. And then of course we have rotational movements because there are certain things in daily life that we do, like putting on the seatbelt in the car, turning around to sort out the kids when they're in the back, that kind of stuff, reaching up for cupboards, putting things down and away. Then that's a rotational kind of pattern. So that's how the body works. And if you think, the difference that I can really say to you is, if you take a squat pattern, it's a movement pattern that flows and it mimics and will make life easier getting down into and up from a seat. That might be a car seat, it might be a seat in the lounge, it might be an airplane seat, it might be when you're going to your kids' open days and you're sitting on really tiny, teeny little seats, but it's a movement pattern. You can still work the quads and the glutes in the gym on a leg extension machine where you sit and you just lift your legs up and down like this, but it wouldn't be as functional because you're moving the muscle around a stable joint, okay? So a lot of what you do, we try and move and flow to get you working in those functional patterns to make life easier, and to get you to be able to flow from one movement to the other. Now, sometimes I combine those into what we call hybrid moves, sometimes we combine them into compound moves or multifunctional moves, and that just means that we are using the two exercises in one go. So the other week we did a squat pattern where we jumped back and then we did a press up and then we jumped in and we stood up again, and that is just a way of combining to make it more effective, because we don't want to have to work out for hours and hours on end every day. So we combine exercises together, and that way we get that flow, we get a little bit of stretch and strength, but we also get a little bit of cardiovascular energy put into that as well. And that's just a clever way of being busy mums, and really we want to just make sure that we get the most bang for our buck in the half an hour that we want to give ourselves. So we could slow it down, like a yoga class might go on for a bit longer. We could, because the moves are slightly different, and there's nothing wrong with those kinds of things, but you haven't got time every day probably to do an hour and a half to get those calories burnt and the strength, the stretch, the warm up and everything else done. So that's what we do. We do functional training, and hopefully it is working for you, but make sure you don't skip stuff. So although we say one is better than none, make sure that when you look back over a 7-day period, you have made sure that you've done some stretching. And my recommendation to you is that you try and do some element of stretching on a daily basis. So remember, you have that daily stretch routine within your training program, and you need to and you just need to try and see if you can fit that in from time to time to get some extra stretch in there. Or within the strength training sessions, there's always that the final 5 minutes will always be some kind of stretch routine that you could always work your way through. So any questions, if you want to know any more about functional strength training, then do give me a shout. Otherwise, I will leave you be for your Tuesday, let you get on. It's around about lunchtime, so hopefully you're enjoying some healthy food this lunchtime. Take a picture, put it on Facebook, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye.